The Grandview Hotel was buzzing with excitement. Everyone was gathered for this high-profile international investment conference, a real who's who of the business world. And there in the middle of the elegant chaos was Daniel Santos, a 34-year-old black construction worker just trying to get a handle on a malfunctioning air conditioning unit. The executives swirled around him, suits pressed and phones in hand, completely underestimating him and what he was capable of. In that moment, Patricia Morris, the hotel manager, sharp, assertive, a bit condescending, glided over and interrupted Daniel. "Do you even know how to fix that?" she asked, eyeing him with skepticism. Though her tone said she assumed he wouldn't, you could almost hear the collective sigh from the executives. Some rolling their eyes, others whispering, "What's he doing here?" But Daniel didn't flinch. He had dealt with worse before. Growing up on the rougher side of town, he'd learned to climb every wall thrown in front of him. So there he was, balancing a tool in one hand and confidence in the other. Just as he was about to explain the fix to Patricia, confusion rippled through the room. The investors seated around a sleek glass table were starting to look agitated, restless. That's when, without warning, Daniel switched into fluent Japanese, his voice smooth as silk, calming the crowd, explaining the delay in their ongoing discussions. Silence fell over the room and Patricia's jaw dropped. "Wait, what?" The executives blinked as Daniel continued speaking seamlessly, transitioning into Spanish, French, 7 languages in total. You could almost taste the disbelief in the air, especially from Richard Blackstone, the billionaire CEO of the very company holding that conference. His expression flickered from irritation over the interruption to shock and deep respect. Daniel had transformed from just the maintenance guy to a powerhouse in a matter of moments, his multilingualism shining like a beacon against their prejudice. But Patricia didn't take it so well. She was dashed angry, really a sense of entitlement burned in her eyes. "I find it hard to believe that a maintenance worker could have such linguistic capabilities," she muttered to one of the other executives. The tension was thick like a cloud ready to burst as Daniel stood there revealing not only his impressive skill set, but also exposing her own biases. As the air conditioning unit hummed back to life, Richard Blackstone was drawn towards Daniel. "You've got quite the talent, man," he said, genuine curiosity in his tone. "Where did you learn all this?" "Well," Daniel began adjusting his tool belt. "I was a civil engineer before life took a different turn. I kept my passion alive, linguistically speaking." There was a flicker of mirth in his voice, a small smile breaking through. But as he shared his story, it wasn't just about the languages. It was about battling through hardship, bullying, low expectations, and discrimination. Meanwhile, back in her office, Patricia was already plotting. How could she turn the tables on this guy who dared to outshine her? She called an emergency meeting with the other executives, spewing excuses about how Daniel's presence was undermining the integrity of their conference. Her disdain palpable. "You know what? Who does he think he is?" She fumed, her nostrils flaring. "We can't let someone like him distract us from the real work." The others exchanged nervous glances, caught between her venomous words and Daniel's undeniable prowess. Back in the maintenance room, Daniel was speaking with Marcus, a longtime friend and coworker. "I feel like I'm ready to take a stand," Daniel confessed, a newfound fire lighting his eyes. "I mean, I've hidden my talents for too long. I want to prove that we can't just judge people based on their job titles." But as any good story goes, things got grittier when Richard Blackstone leaned deeper into who Daniel was. He poked around Daniel's employment file and found not just impressive qualifications, but an entire life filled with struggle and triumph. Patricia, on the other hand, was digging too, wanting to find anything that could smudge Daniel's reputation. Then in a twist, you could practically write a movie scene about Blackstone confronted Patricia, bold-faced, armed with Daniel's story and talents. "You're missing the bigger picture here," he said, intensity filling the room with a palpable energy. "He's a civil engineer who can communicate with almost anyone, and you want to fire him because you think he's just a maintenance worker." In that defining moment, everything changed. Blackstone's words resonated like thunder. Patricia stood frozen, her world of prejudice collapsing like a house of cards. Consequences came swiftly. Blackstone made it clear Patricia would no longer serve as hotel manager. Her own prejudice dead weight. She took the news hard, her personal and professional life crumbling together. With Patricia gone, Daniel experienced a shift from forgotten worker to someone who could create real impact. Blackstone offered him a high-ranking position in the company, recognizing his potential that had been overlooked for so long. Suddenly, Daniel was at the helm, not just shifting contracts, but creating an environment that celebrated hidden talents much like his own. He initiated a hidden talents program, encouraging other undervalued employees to step into the light. The hotel, once merely an establishment for big shots, transformed into a thriving community where everyone's strengths were recognized, respected, and celebrated. In one touching moment, Daniel received an award for his contributions. Standing before friends and colleagues, he spoke from the heart, a mix of gratitude and determination. All I want is for people to see that we can't judge one another by our roles. It's what's inside that truly matters. His words hung in the air, echoing the very essence of underestimated potential and human resilience. But here's where the story really opens up. There's a lingering question, one that I want you to consider as you reflect on Daniel's journey. How often do we dismiss the talents of those working behind the scenes? Have you ever experienced or witnessed someone being judged unfairly, faced with biases that overshadow their skills? As you think on this, drop a comment below sharing your own experiences. I really want to hear your stories. How do we ensure that we don't just see the surface, but truly recognize the depths of everyone's potential? And if you enjoyed this tale of triumph, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that shine a light on the power of unity, empathy, and the importance of working together. Because it's the diverse talents that make us stronger. Thanks for watching, and let's keep this conversation going.